Hi everybody, my name is Sarah. I'm the Attic Stitcher and this is Flosstube number 4. Today is March 21st, 2025. It's spring officially. It doesn't quite feel like it today. It's kind of cold today, but anyway. So Flosstube number 4, and I've got 3 whips to show. I've got a little bit of haul this time actually. I don't know how interesting it is. And then of course I'll go over my plans as well. It's been 2 weeks since I recorded, but life got a little crazy this past week. And so I've not touched my stitching for an entire week. So this is only 1 week's worth of stitching. I've not stitched since last Friday. Because life has just been crazy. And so for those of you who are like, oh, I don't care about that, that's fine. You don't have to care about it. We're here just to share cross stitch. At the end, I'll give a little update on all the craziness of my life that's prevented me from cross stitching. But anyway, so it's probably going to be a slightly short video today, but I wanted to stay on schedule. So with that being said, we'll dive into it with my whips, and then, yeah, whips, haul, plans, life updates. Crazy hectic. Anyway, so my first whip is the Thomas Jefferson's book quote. This is what it looks like on the preview, and it's a kit that I got when I was on a trip with a friend to the historic Triangle in Virginia, in that area. I took this with me on a road trip last time. Here's where I was, and I took this with me on a road trip I took with my sister, and I kind of shared some pictures at the end of my last Flosstube of that, but I'll kind of share a little bit more at the end of this video for those who are curious about what exactly I did with my sister. But so that's where I was, and here's where I am now. So again, I am just keeping on working on doing the framing of the border. So I think I was able, oops, let me hold it like this. I was able to come down and start going over and get the squares. So my next step is filling out that area, but yeah, so not a very exciting update on this one, but my plan is to get the unfun stitching out of the way so then I can do the fun stitching. So that's Thomas Jefferson's book quote. One of my plans last time relates to my Rapunzel, and I'm happy to say I finished that plan. So this is Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs, and this is where I was last time, and my goal was by the time that I come back to you all in this Flosstube to have finished her flower crown, all the cross stitching. Not necessarily finished the back stitching, but all of the cross stitching, and I'm happy to say I did. So here's where I'm at, and so I have finished all of the crosses in her flower crown, and I've started working on the back stitching, so you can see it here and around the outline of the crown. Here's a slightly closer view for you. So I was very, very, very excited to get all of the stitching done. And the back stitching just makes the whole thing come together and just pop. It's beautiful. I did also manage to go and get the missing skin color, so I did get some skin accomplished. For those of you who might be new, my goal is every time I sit down with Rapunzel to start off and do one length of thread in her skin that I'm doing 1/1. So I was able to do that and get some of the shadow color in on her, and then of course I went back and finished her crown. So my next steps is of course finishing the back stitching and all of that, but she's coming along and she's so pretty. And I just love, 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 love to show her off. So that's Rapunzel from Make It Pink Designs. The pattern is based off of artwork by Hannah Alexander Artwork on Instagram. Trying to remember which one it was. And then my last whip that I touched a week ago is my Cats and Floral Hats. Cats in Floral Hats by Pam Kellogg. I'll get it right this time. Oh, my Rapunzel, I'm stitching on a 30 count Arizona Sunset Linen from Jackson Fabric Arts on Etsy. I'll link her below with all the call for threads. So there's that. But anyways, yes, Cats and Floral Hats from Pam Kellogg is my third whip that I touched. I didn't complete my goal from last time, but like I said, life got crazy. So, you know, such is life. So there's where I was, and my goal was to finish the hat, if not the entire cat. And I didn't accomplish either of those. I did get some more stitching in. Oh, I didn't. Let me try that again. There we go. So here's where I'm at. I did get some more stitching in on her hat, but not enough. So I only set for one evening on the cat. So I've still got some more of the brim of the hat. I think I've got, there's just like a couple more dark shadow colors for the bow. And of course I gotta finish the brim of the hat and then the last bit of these flowers. So I did get all of this put in, all of the darker gold color I put in from last time. So it was a little bit of a bummer that I didn't get to finish the hat, but like I said, life was crazy. Life was crazy. So those are my whips. Pretty light work in progress this time, because that is 1 week. 1 week of stitching. Life was just crazy, guys. Okay. Haul. So as I'm sure many of you know, Joann's craft store is going out of business. And so all of the stores have sales and stuff. And I've been hearing a lot about how they are basically wiped out and sold out of everything. So I was just curious what my local Joann's looked like. And so I went and visited. And I was actually impressed with how much stock they still had. There were some areas that were picked clean and picked through. And one of those areas that was picked through was their very, very small cross-stitch embroidery section. I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll still have some Aida that I can get on sale or something like that. No, they had very few threads left, some pearl cotton, DMC pearl cotton, one cross-stitch pattern left, nothing else. Nothing else. It was kind of wild to see. But I did pick up some threads. And I'm sure you're like, oh, this isn't interesting. But even though I've heard that they're a horror to work with, I picked up one skein of each color that they still had in stock of the DMC satin threads. They're so pretty. So, like, I've got some green and the white, some some more green. So yeah, I just went and picked up one of each color. I was like, I'm here. They're on sale. I'll just grab them. Because I like to challenge myself. And, you know, why not challenge myself with some satin thread? What project I'm going to use on it, I don't know. But why not face that challenge? So, anyway, that's my haul for my plans. I definitely, in the next 2 weeks, want to touch my Poppies for Dad project, since I didn't get to work on that at all over the last 2 weeks. So I definitely want to work on my Poppies for Dad project. I kind of want to have it in my head to have it completed by Father's Day. For those of you who are new, my Poppies for Dad project is one I'm stitching in memory of my dad, who passed away unexpectedly at the end of last year. So I definitely want to pick that project up. And then, of course, I'm going to keep working on Rapunzel and my Cats and Flower Hats. And another project that I really want to pick up is I want to pick up my Mirabilia Winter Queen. I'd like to get some good stitching in on her over the course of the next 2 weeks. So yeah, so those are my plans, to just make sure that I pick up my Poppies for Dad and I pick up Winter Queen by Mirabilia and go from there. So, like I said, very short video. My phone says we're just now reaching 12 minutes. So, if that's all you're interested in seeing, thanks for watching. Hopefully next time I'll have some more to share with you. You don't have to stay to listen to my crazy life if you don't want to. But anyway, I hope to see you around next time. So, bye to those who are leaving. And for those who are curious, what chaos is happening in Sarah's life? Well, I had a really good trip with my sister. My sister and I went to the Lexington Comic and Toy Convention in Lexington, Kentucky. We just went up with a friend, spent the night, and then just did one day at the con. The voice actor for Sanji from One Piece was there, and my sister and I watched that, and we got to meet him. And then Jason Isaacs, who's been in a variety of things, but I grew up watching him play Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies, was also there, and so I really wanted to meet him because that was a big part of my childhood. So you got to meet him, and it was a lot of fun. They were so sweet. They were the two with the longest lines, and I've been to quite a few different conventions, and you know, if they've got a long line, they either are getting through it as fast as they can, and you can tell that they just don't care really about having the interaction. They're just trying to get the interaction done and over with. And then there's also the ones where you can tell that they really care, but they're just trying to get through the line so they can see everybody, and that if they could have more time spent interacting with you, they would. And both Eric Vell and Jason Isaacs were like that. I could tell they wanted to spend 10-15 minutes talking to every person who came through their line, but realistically, if they wanted to get through to see everybody who wanted to see them, they couldn't. So if I ever get a chance to meet them again, I most definitely am, because they were the sweetest. Loved them. It was just great getting to see them and getting a picture with them. So that was the fun thing. The last weekend is when my life went crazy. Early Saturday morning, a severe thunderstorm went through my area, and it produced hail. And the hail was, some people reported up to tennis ball size hail in my area. My house was pelted for almost 5 exact minutes with golf ball size hail. So I have had the pleasure over this past week of dealing with insurance and making a claim for the damage on my house and for the damage on my car. It's crazy. My roof is most definitely going to be replaced. I've got siding that's going to need replacing. I mean, it's just wild. I've never experienced hail that large in my life. And to have it come down, ranging from quarter to golf ball size for 5 minutes is just wild to me. So that was crazy. And then on top of it, my oven stopped working. And then my fridge started making funny noises. And so that was stressing me out because I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to have to deal with all of this insurance stuff and also look at having to replace 2 appliances? Thankfully, my brother was able to come over on Monday and fix my fridge and fix my oven. So I don't have to worry about those anymore. Still have to worry about my house and car. But then on Monday, Kitten got sick. Kitten threw up and was just acting off. She wasn't acting right. And I had to coax her out from the corner of my bedroom for me to even get a look at her and stuff. And I was like, she's just not acting right. Wasn't seeing her use the restroom. She ate a little bit, but her behavior and the fact that she had thrown up the way she had was concerning to me. And so I contacted her vet, explained my concerns, especially because the way she was acting and how she had thrown up and the fact that she had thrown up some undigested food and she hadn't had any food since the night before made me worried that she might be experiencing a blockage, especially because she's my cat who likes to eat rubber bands and hair ties if given the opportunity. So I was worried she might have gotten a hold of something without me knowing. So I took her into the vet, and the vet did, well, amazingly, my 17-pound cat decided that she did not like the vet and went wild. 4 vet techs couldn't hold her down to draw her blood or take her x-rays. So because we were worried about a blockage, we went ahead and made the decision to sedate her so we could get that information going. And the x-rays showed no foreign bodies in her, but it did show that she was backed up and she had a lot of gas. So that was then a case of, okay, let's take her home. Let's see if we can't get her to have a bowel movement and see if this will work through her system, especially because her belly also showed distended and we weren't sure if that was the food that she had gotten a hold of that morning still in her system or not. So we brought her home, took her in the next morning, gave her a gabapentin pill so she wouldn't maul the vet techs this time. And they took another x-ray and they showed the gas bubbles were all gone. The food that had been in her stomach was now in her intestines, but she was still backed up and I had not seen her have a bowel movement. So they sent her home with some laxative, and she was on laxative the entire day and did not have a bowel movement. I took her in the next morning because she still had not had a bowel movement. It had been at least 3 days since she had had a bowel movement, and they took another x-ray and she was showing still very backed up. And the way it looked on the scan, the vet who was in that day said it looks like she's got some very hard stool blocking her up. So we decided to do an enema on her to get her unblocked. So she got sedated again, and they did the enema on her and got her cleared up. That went really well. They were able to get that out of her, and all the stuff that was loose from the laxative came out easy peasy. And so when she was ready, when she was awake from the sedation, the vet called me and said she was ready to be picked up. So I went and picked her up and brought her home. Granted, that day my regular vet was not in, and I usually don't have any issues with any of the vets at the clinic I take my cats to, so I didn't have any concerns about it not being my regular vet. But I had gotten Kit set up in a little spot in case she had any remnants come out, and had went and gone to do something, and then I went back in the room to check on her, and she was kind of sprawled across her cat bed. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. Look at her. But I got down closer and she was not reacting to me. She was just sprawled out. Like, she wouldn't lift her head to look at me. She just looked dazed. And I was watching her carefully. And I was like, her breathing was really shallow. I mean, it scared me. I'd never had a cat come home after being sedated and act that way. It scared me really good. So it was then, by that time, it was after hours for my clinic, but they had an emergency line. So I called it. I'm just like, I've never had a cat react this way after being sedated. Her breathing seems really shallow. She's like, I'm struggling to get her to react to me. And my regular vet was the one on call. And she was like, Sarah, bring her in. Let's take a look at her. Let's make sure that she's all stable and stuff. Which was just so good of her to be that way. Not only that, but to say, I'm not going to charge you for this emergency visit. Let's check her out. So I was very blessed with that. And so I took Kit in, and my vet was like, oh, she's still very sedated. And she's like, but her vitals are all stable. So that wasn't a concern anymore about that. And she went and reviewed the notes from the vet who did the procedure that day. She's like, oh, she used a different sedative than what my vet had used previously. And my vet was like, and this is a sedative I know can sometimes be difficult for heavier weight cats to get out of their system. So she says, I don't think we have anything to be concerned about. We just need to get her stimulated and moving so she burns this sedation off faster. So that was a great relief to me, because I mean, there was a moment when I thought I was looking at a dead cat. I was so worried. It scared me so bad. But I got her home, got her stimulated, got her moving, got her favorite toy out, and that perked her up. She started moving and walking around. And say hi, sister. And so that was just great. So grateful for that. And she is now fully recovered, and she has successfully had a bowel movement all on her own as of this morning. So all good, all good. So things are starting to work out. It's just, let's not play with my dice bag. But it all worked out. Kit's all better. She's good. She's been playing. We've worked out getting a new diet in her that will hopefully keep her from getting blocked up again and hopefully help her lose some weight. I've been trying to get her to lose some weight for a while now, but we've got a new system in place to monitor how much she's eating, and we're going to try a new weight management cat food for her. So, yeah, that's my crazy life that prevented me from cross-stitching for an entire week. And that doubled the length of my floss tube, filling you all in on that. Oh my goodness. It was crazy, guys. And it's still not over with. I've still got to deal with fixing my house and car and all of that. So it all came at once for me. And it was crazy because my brother lives 2 minutes from me and he did not get the hail like I did. It's just crazy how the weather works like that. So anyways, if you survived this long watching me, how about we put a cat emoji in the comments? Like, thanks for listening to my chaos. But I'm excited because I've got a much chiller couple of weeks ahead of me, barring any craziness. So hopefully I'll be able to get some more stitching in to share with you next time. And yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for listening to my chaos, and have a great time stitching, guys, and I'll see you in my next floss tube. Bye.